So, hello everybody. Welcome back in this session. This is the first TP for me as a practice in the SAT teaching course with Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim, Manchester College, inshallah. And today we'll have simple topics to review and go through some practice also together. Let me share the screen and then I will briefly introduce myself. Today we'll deal with the relative clauses, types of clauses, and move later to the prepositional phrase and what is the prepositional phrase. Okay. For me, let me introduce myself briefly. I'm Marwaiz. I'm a teacher of English, a former kindergarten supervisor for about 4 years, online instructor teaching conversation, and also phonetic trainer for kids, and currently a teacher of kindergarten in the American diploma in Al Manhal International School in Riyadh. And also I have a little experience with translation, especially with methodology researches and some evaluation researches. Okay, so a simple starter. Let's go and just to have some fun. Look at the picture here and read. Mr. Muhammad, can you read the sentence in front of you?
Hey, it's written, cats love to sleep.
Yeah, I guess this one fact about cats, okay? You will do the same as a fact about you. So you can give me a sentence, Mr. Muhammad loves or likes, or for example, I can say that Marwa loves reading, Marwa loves drawing. What about you? Tell me a fact about you.
I like to play the guitar.
Wow, is this a fact or or you
Yes, it's
imagine
true.
that you
No,
practice,
no,
you
it's
already
true.
like this and you play it?
Yes, I'm a
This
guitarist.
is very interesting, very interesting. Some secret for me now that Mr. Muhammad plays the guitar. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Okay. Now, if you want to share this picture on your WhatsApp, I can send it because you listen to some sentences and you will guess who is he or who is she and select the character according to the description. Okay. So let me send it on the group to see the sentences easier.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, hello, Mr. Ahmed. Welcome back to the session. It's my honor, Wallah, to have you here.
Thank you.
Hello, Miss Lydia. I really miss you. Happy Eid to you all, guys. So we'll
Thank you
have
so
some
much.
simple topics today for practice. This is my first TB. So we just go with a simple practice as an activity. Let's check here the picture I sent on WhatsApp for some characters to identify who is he or who is she. We'll share now the description and you can match the character with the picture. We'll share this picture in your WhatsApp and move to the description for each one. Who is he and who is she? For number one, who is wearing a yellow t-shirt and he has black short hair. He has a dark skin too. Focus on the pictures here in front of you and select the boy or a girl with this description. Short black hair with a yellow t-shirt.
I think it is
Lydia, you
Harkus.
can write the name of the character in the chat box.
It's Harkus.
Yeah, drop the name in the chat box. Okay, here is Mr. Hussein. Welcome to the group, Mr. Hussam. Marks, very nice, Mr. Muhammad. So I guess Mark in picture number 1, who is wearing a yellow t-shirt and has a black short hair. Moving to number 2, who's wearing the green glasses and whose hair is yellow. Her skin is white as blonde girl. Which one? You can check the picture, by the way, in your WhatsApp. I share it here. Green glasses, and she's like a blonde girl with a yellow hair. You get the right answer?
I think it's Christine. I'm sorry. Christine.
What do you think, Mr. Ahmed?
Christine.
Who's wearing a green glasses with yellow hair, and she's like a blonde girl. Check the blonde girls in front of you.
Hello, guys. Sorry
Yes,
for
Mr.
being
Hussam.
late. I'm sorry for being late.
So thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Thank you, Lydia. She's Christine, really. She's Christine. Thank you. Let's move to the third one. A girl with curly black hair. Check the curly black hair with the girl whose glasses are black. She's black-skinned. She's black-skinned with black curly hair. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Who else? You find a girl?
Do you want us to write down the answer?
Yeah, just listen to the description and choose the character. Who is he or who is she? We are in number 3, a girl with a black curly hair and black skin.
I think Mary and Tina.
Tina, you are right. She's Tina. Very nice. So we can identify the person according to the description in front of you. Okay, in the 3 sentences here, I just want one of you to identify or highlight the pronouns you find in the 3 sentences. Raise hand. Who's ready? Just highlight the pronouns you
Sorry,
find.
Marwa, but your screen is not clear. Okay, it's clear now.
Anybody ready? Yes, Mr. Muhammad.
Okay, for the first sentence, we have the pronoun who in the very beginning.
Yes.
We have he, and then he is repeated again, and that's it.
What kind of pronouns? He.
He is subject pronoun.
Object pronoun, you're right. And who?
Who is
A kind of relative pronoun.
no. This is interrogative pronoun. By the way, this sentence should be ended with a question mark.
Yeah, yeah,
Who
so-
is where?
yeah. You just are speaking about number 1, but
Yes.
using who and whose in the other examples. Interrogative. It's not a question. It's just a description. Who is wearing a yellow t-shirt? The boy who is wearing, or the girl who is wearing green glasses.
Okay.
Okay.
Must be.
And also whose? What kind of pronouns?
Relative pronoun for
Yes,
number
relative pronouns. Do you know any other relative pronouns?
2. Yes, sure. Who, whom, what. There are lots.
Yes. Great, great. And every relative pronoun indicates a purpose, like for a person or a place or time, or possessive nouns, as we know, right? That's something related to what we have as a starter. We'll go through our first part of the lesson, which is clauses and types of clause. Types of clauses. First of all, when you hear the word clause, what comes to your mind to identify a clause? What is a clause? Let me just see your ideas. What is a clause?
It must
Yeah, you already
have
share your
like a
ideas?
subject and a verb. Subject and verb.
What do you think, Miss Lydia? What is a clause? Any clause. What does a clause include? Mr. Hussam, what about your idea? Would you like to share your idea?
It's just a sentence that has subject and verb.
A subject and a predicate, right? Do you know any kinds of clauses in English? There are many.
Yeah, okay. Any kind? Types? You mean types?
Yeah.
Simple and complex, I think.
So this is 4 sentences. So we'll go through types of clauses in this session, and we'll move later to the next part, which is what is a prepositional phrase and how can we identify the prepositional phrase. Let's move to the clause and let's see the definition of any clause in English. A clause is a group of words which includes the subject and a predicate. However, it's independent clause or the other type, which is dependent clause. What's the difference between the independent clause and dependent clause? Have you ever heard the difference? And to write independent clause or dependent clause, who can differentiate between both clauses? And by the way, there are many types of clauses also, like adverbial clause, noun clause, or adjective clauses also. But for independent clause and dependent clause, what's the difference between both? Can we move to Mr. Muhammad? Can you clarify the difference? Mr. Muhammad Abu Bakr? Hello, do you hear me?
Okay,
Yeah.
An independent clause is a clause that has got like a complete thought. It gives a full meaning. It can stand
Yeah.
alone.
It
While
can,
a dependent clause is a one that doesn't give a full meaning, not a complete thought, and can't stand alone.
yeah. So it's not complete. It's not complete meaning or complete idea. And it needs another portion of the sentence, another part to support and complete the thought or the information of the sentence. But for the independent clause, the subject and predicate can give a complete idea. I play tennis or I prefer coffee. So it stands alone without any transition words or any completion of the sentence. These are the 2 types of clauses we are moving. And according to the relative pronouns we mentioned in the previous activity, we have also the relative clauses. Can you give me just one example in the chat box using the relative pronoun and give me a relative clause now? Choose one relative pronoun and drop your sentence in the chat box. You can check here the relative pronouns, who and whom, when, where, which, that, and whose. Each stands for a purpose. Who and whom used for people and persons in general. When refers to specific time or periods. Where, places only. Which for things or animals, any other nouns. And that can stand for persons, animals, places, or whatever. Who is for possessive nouns. Can you give one example at least in the chat box? Who wears the black jacket? Yes. Huh? Who else? I need it. The relative clause starts with the relative pronoun. This is my old school where I graduated from the high school or I finished my baccalaureate. Who else? Lydia, where are you? Mr. Ahmed. Mr. Ahmed Ayman?
Marwa, I'm so sorry, but the connection here is not. I have a bad
Very nice
connection,
idea.
so would you please repeat it again?
What about you, Mr. Hussein? This my car's color is blue. Haven't you a car? Mr. Hussein. Mr. Ahmed. Very nice. I wasn't there when it happened. Thank you. Okay, there's another type for the clauses, which is relative clauses. Moving on to see that there are essential clauses and non-essential clauses. They are relative clauses too, but they are divided into two types: essential, or they have important ideas and related information, and non-essential clause. How can you identify the essential clause and the non-essential clause? Just give me a general idea. What comes to your mind when you hear essential clause and the non-essential clause? What is the big difference? Lydia, would you like to share your ideas? What is the essential clause then? Do we need it in the sentence or not? And why do we need it in the sentence?
Okay, I'm gonna read it, but I have a bad connection.
Okay, you can read it and you can clarify in your words.
Okay, essential clauses or relative clauses include information that's important to the meaning of the sentence. And the relative pronoun, which is like that, refers to objects or places, and it's the biggest indicator of an essential clause.
So what do you get here? So you get to know that the essential clause is important in the sentence or not?
مروة أنا فكرة كلمات متقاطعة بسبب النت.
My
I'm
connection.
so sorry.
I'm sorry. My connection.
No, my connection is not
Okay.
good.
So never mind. Just keep following, and I can hear Mr. Hussam. What do you get to know? What is the essential clause then? Is it important in the sentence?
Yes, of course. It
What's the
adds
purpose?
it adds the main idea of the topic, I think.
It gives more details related to the sentence. It clarifies.
Yeah.
It's informative enough to support the sentence.
Yeah, of course.
Great, great. So, Mr. Muhammad Abu Bakr, for the essential
Yes.
clause, do we use the relative pronouns to give the big idea or the important idea of the sentence? In the essential clause, do we use the relative pronoun
In essential clauses,
to make
I think
relative clause
we still use the
which is
relative pronouns.
important and informative? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, great. Okay, on the contrary, how do you find the non-essential
It's
clause
yes.
then? If the essential clause is very informative and important to give ideas or details or to support the meaning, what about the non-essential clause? Who's ready to share the ideas? We can find the meaning here and the purpose. We missed Mr. Ahmed Ayman, I guess. I can see him. Maybe his connection is not stable enough. So, Mr. Hussein.
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed, are you here?
He's
Okay.
Yep.
So, Mr. Hussein, on the other side, we can find the non-essential clause important in the sentence or not important. Can we remove it or not?
Yeah, it seems like, we can remove it. It's not necessary for the main idea.
Okay, we can remove the non-essential clause. Okay, how do you find, or what do you know about the punctuation used for the relative clauses in general? And if the non-essential clause appears, I can remove it. What kind of punctuation can we use with these clauses?
comma, I think.
Yeah, 2 commas. Can we use 2 semicolons for separating the relative clause or the non-essential clause? Can we use 2 semicolons?
We can't use 2 semicolons. We can use dashes or
What do you think,
brackets.
Mr. Muhammad? Can we add 2 semicolons for the non-essential clause?
We can't use semicolons. We can use either dashes or brackets.
I'm sorry, can you raise your voice a little bit? We can't use 2 semicolons. You said this? Hello? Okay, Mr. Ahmed Ayman, the question for you, for the non-essential clause, can we use 2 semicolons to separate the relative clause in a sentence? Mr. Ahmed, you can mute yourself and share your idea and your opinion. Can we use 2 semicolons to separate the non-essential clause in a sentence? Okay, I guess he has ups and downs in the internet. Mr. Muhammad, say yes or no. Can we use 2 semicolons to separate the relative clause, the non-essential clause in a sentence?
We have said we can't use semicolons.
Yeah, you are right. So we get to know here the non-essential relative clause, it's not necessary, or it gives not necessary information about the subject or about the idea of the sentence. We can consider also the non-essential clause as adjective clause, which describes the noun or the subject of the sentence. If we remove the adjective, it doesn't affect the meaning of the sentence. Okay, the clear? Moving on. We'll check some examples for both non-essential and essential clauses. Mr. Hussam, you can read and identify the relative clause, which is essential clause in this example. Yes. Here, can you just read aloud? You will read the sentence and highlight the essential clause you find. Mr. Hussam, do you hear me?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, so just read aloud the first example and I highlight the essential clause.
Miss Marwa?
Mr. Hussein. Okay. So that connection
Miss
too.
Marwa?
Yes. Just read aloud.
I'm sorry, yeah, my connection is
Are you sure?
Where are the examples?
Here, I shared the screen.
Okay,
Where
Miss,
are
I
the
can
examples?
Here. The person who's seated
Okay,
next
Miss, I
to
can
me
see the
wouldn't
sentence.
stop talking during the show. Read aloud and highlight the essential clause you find. Okay, Mr. Muhammad, move on.
Okay, so in number 1, it said the person who's seated next to me wouldn't stop talking during the show. Who's seated next to me is the non-essential. Miss, I guess have problems within
Sorry
your
for
internet
the-
connection.
Yeah, I
It's not
think
ours.
it's their connection.
In Egypt, wallah, in Egypt, we're suffering here. Okay, so I guess that here is the relative essential
Your
clause,
voice is
starting with
lagging.
who's seated next to me.
Your voice
For number two, the house that
Yeah.
we wanted to look at has been sold. We can find that that clause that we wanted to look at. It is also the essential clause started with the relative pronoun that. Here are some examples for the non-essential clause. And I need Mr. Hussam to reply this one. Just identify and highlight the non-essential relative clause here. In this example, my refrigerator, and raise your voice, please. Hello?